Hello and welcome. This is Jnaneshwar Gatkar, and I once again welcome you in this online workshop on English communication skills. Uh, in this session, we are going to discuss the topic that is understanding text, the art of decoding words. When I ask my students who basically use English as a second language, what are the major difficulties they face during reading the text, and to our surprise, most of the students answer that lack of vocabulary is the major issue we face while understanding or interpreting the text. So, enriching our vocabulary and getting the appropriate sense or meaning, it becomes necessary as a reader of English language. That's why this very session we are going to discuss on the art of decoding words, which is the basic unit of language, need to be used very carefully, obviously. And because words are very naughty in nature, they may have shade of meaning. Basically, they don't have meaning of their own. Remember, I am making a very bold statement. Words don't have a fixed meaning of their own. So eventually it becomes useless to mug up and use words in advanced level of communication. That time one needs a different understanding and comprehension skills. Today we are going to talk on this, the word and its mysterious behavior, which is necessary to understand while using it in our speaking or writing or our reading, or if we are listening them. Let's start with an example. Suppose this is the first day of your job. You just joined a corporate company. On the very first day, your boss just summon you and order you, take this page and burn it. Now what will you do? If you don't know the office jargon, you will take it literally and may burn the paper. As soon as your boss realizes that you burn the paper, he will fire you. Now in this context, the word burn and the fire are nothing to do with fire, that means Agni. They simply mean something else. Here burn means to photocopy it, and fire means that you are dismissed or terminated from the job. I think this example gives us clear idea that appropriate use of word becomes very necessary. So now to talk about decoding words, throughout this session, I'm going to focus on few points. Let's have the points on which we are going to focus in the presentation. In first instance, we are going to discuss about literal meaning of the word. Secondly, we are going to discuss on contextual meaning of the word. And thirdly, type of language in which we are using the word, standard language or a dialect. And fourthly, synonyms, then antonyms. We will talk about symbolic use of word, and lastly we will focus on the speakers and writers' individuality, how this individuality determine the meaning of the word. So these are the 7 steps which may enable us to get closer to the word interpretation. Even after that, one cannot say that he understood the word exactly. That is another thing. Now we will discuss it one by one. So firstly, let's talk about literal meaning of the word. Dear participants, many students who are in good touch with English language and literature might know the name of Derrida, Jacques Derrida he is, and his deconstruction as well, where he asserts that for understanding a word we basically needs two things: signifier and a signified. Now, what is signifier and signified? Let's put it in a simple term. Signifier is nothing but sound, and signified is the object. Now, if we see this illustration and think over it, we can understand that it is impossible to get the meaning of the word if we lack any one out of these two. We understand the word tree because we know the sound and the object. But what if we say that what is the meaning of chrysanthemum? Many of you may not understand it because you lack the object which you have, though you have the sound. So whenever you find an unknown word, just try to get these two things: signifier and signified, in simple term, object and sound. For understanding the meaning of the word, we need to fuse this object and sound. Just fuse them, merge them, and you will never forget the literal meaning of the word. When we say table, suddenly our brain projects the image of the table. That's why we understand the term or the word table. So that projection is necessary, and the sound is also necessary. Table, T-A-B-L is sound, table. So by discussing this first point, what I want to convey, I simply want to say that for getting the meaning of the word, the first step is knowing its literal meaning. When you know the literal meaning, you form a concrete image of that word or the idea behind of that word into your mind. Listen, our brain is a kind of creator. This is a physical world. And what is in our brain? This physical world? No. Our brain, there are only words, words and words. Our internal world is made up of words. So in another sense, word is a world for us. So it becomes necessary for us to construct that verbal word in a more concrete way. When you succeed to construct that word, the concrete word in your brain, it will become very eventual that you understand the proper meaning of the word. But this is the first step for decoding a word. Talking about the second point, though we know the literal meaning yet, it is not sufficient. By first point, it is clear we can get literal meaning by fusing the signifier and signified, or sound or object, but it is not sufficient, I think. For example, take an example, as in case of the word shoot. What does mean by shoot? I'll give you a few seconds to think over it. What does mean by shoot? Shoot, S-H-O-O-T, shoot. Okay. Just tally the meaning you thought with this sentence, which I am telling now. I shoot him. In this sentence, the grammatical construction of the sentence is subject, verb and object. I shoot him. Okay. So I is the subject there. Him is an object. But the verb shoot here means to kill. I shoot him means I kill him. Okay. If it is so, means to shoot means to kill, Then tell me the meaning of this shoot as it is used in I shoot a bullet. It does not mean I kill a bullet, because I is the subject, bullet is an object. Then how it comes that shoot is a shoot means to kill? Rather it means to fire. I shoot a bullet means I fired a bullet. Okay. Or you tell me the meaning of this shoot? I shoot a photograph. I fire a photograph. No, it's not. I kill a photograph. No, it is not. So here it means I capture a photograph. So here shoot means to capture. So the same word shoot means in one sentence to kill, in second sentence to fire, in third sentence to capture. Then what does shoot really means? We know the literal meaning of shoot. We know the signifier and signified. But yet it is not sufficient, because each and every sentence, the meaning of the word is determined by the sentence itself, the words around it. In another way, let me make another bold statement, that meaning is not within the word, rather meaning is outside the word. If meaning is not within the word, then where one should find the meaning? We can find the meaning by correlating that word with other words which come in those sentences. That's why the literal meaning which we know is not sufficient to understand the text. This is the second step, my dear friends. Most of the time meanings are dependent on the context and references. In which context you are using it, it determines the meaning of the word. That's why only knowing literal meaning is not sufficient. You know, what does mean by bark? Yes, we know. Bark means, now you are thinking, barks, it can be a bark of a dog or a bark of a tree. What does mean by trunk? It could be trunk of a tree, or a trunk of an elephant, or a trunk in the trunk call, or a trunk. Mine, am I any mine? It could be possessive of I, possessive case of I, my, like my, mine. And it could be like gold mine. So mine, this book is mine, and this is gold mine. Both mines are different. So what we understand, that meaning of the words are dependent on the context of the sentences. You must try to decode the word by knowing its context. Many times references and contexts are the key to decode the word. So never forget about reference and context. Okay. I don't have much time to explain it further, so we go to the next point. While determining the meaning of the word, we must also consider in what kind of language it is used. Language generally can be divided majorly in two categories: standard language and dialect. So we must consider that the same word can be different in meaning if we use it in a standard language and in a dialect. There is another type of language which we generally call it jargon. Jargon is also determining aspect in this regard. As I mentioned earlier, that burn and fire episode, burn and fire have different meaning than their general sense. Let me give you an interesting example. In our underworld has their its own jargon. देखा है ना हमने कि बहुत बार ये जो टपोरी वगैरह लोग रहते हैं, वो उनकी अपनी खुद की एक जार्गन होती है। जार्गन मतलब लैंग्वेज ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर सेक्ट और अ पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप। जैसे कोर्ट की एक जार्गन होती है, बैंक में काम करने वाले लोगों की एक जार्गन होती है, वैसे अंडरवर्ल्ड के लोगों की एक जार्गन होती है। नाउ if we take the literal meaning of any word which is used in a particular jargon, then it will become very difficult to us. How? Imagine कीजिए आप कि आप मुंबई में हैं और वहाँ पे आपका किसी वो रहता है ना टपोरी के साथ, उसके साथ कुछ हो जाए और वो आपसे गुस्सा हो जाए और आपको पता ही नहीं कि ये टपोरी लोग किस जार्गन में बात करते हैं, और उसने आपको बोला कि ये जाता यहाँ से कि निकालो घोड़ा, तो क्या करोगे आप घोड़े की राह देखोगे? क्योंकि आपके लिए तो घोड़ा मतलब ऐसा एनिमल कि जिसके ऊपर राइड करते हैं, जिसको 4 पैर होते हैं वगैरह वगैरह, ये तो लिटरल मीनिंग हो गया। बट इन देयर जार्गन घोड़ा मीन्स, इट डज नॉट मीन हॉर्स, रादर इट मीन्स गन। इसलिए अगर आपको जार्गन पता नहीं, उसकी मीनिंग पता नहीं, तो आपकी जान भी जा सकती है अगर आप घोड़े की राह देख रहे हो तो, और वो टपुरी को गुस्सा आ जाएगा। सो देर आर सो मेनी वर्ड्स इन एनी लैंग्वेज, नॉट ओनली इन इंग्लिश। फॉर प्रैक्टिस लेट्स have an assignment. You can list such words which have different shades of meaning when used in different dialect and variety of context, etc. So this is the third point which I want to make clear. Firstly, for understanding a word, you must know the object and the sound, the signifier and the signified. Secondly, you must consider its referential and contextual meaning as well. And thirdly, you must know in which particular jargon it is used, whether it is used in a standard language or in a dialect, बोली भाषा जिसे कहते हैं हम, और in a particular jargon. अब जो मराठी स्पीकर पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उनके लिए मैं इसका और एक अच्छा उदाहरण दे सकता हूँ कि जैसे महाराष्ट्र में बहुत सारी डायलेक्ट्स है, कोंकणी, गोमंतक, अहिरणी जिसको खानदेशी भी बोलते हैं, मराठवाड़ी, पश्चिम महाराष्ट्रियन डायलेक्ट है, हमारी विदर्भा की वराडी डायलेक्ट है. नाउ दोज हु आर मराठी स्पीकर्स, की आपल्या इकडे विदर्भातल्या एखाद्या मुलानं म्हटलं की माया फोन नाही आला आज, सो ही यूज दिस स्टेटमेंट इन अ वराडी डायलेक्ट, माया फोन नाही आला आज. सो हियर माया मीन्स माझा, माय. But when a Pachchim Maharashtrian who generally use standard language, when he listen this statement, he'll think, आता ही माया कोण? Because for him Maya means name of a girl, Maya. So dialect and standard language matters a lot. When you are a listener or a reader, you must consider these things. Don't worry, I will be brief in my explanation. So let's move to next point.